Happening right now, officials are set to announce the renaming of a local bridge after Celtics legend Bill Russell. Let's listen in.
All come together through thick and thin to cheer for that on the various in the various arenas or parks or throughout our city, but also off the court, and what that means to be a true leader in our communities with the platform that you do have. I know there are a lot of folks here who are excited to celebrate this and who are doing the work of building the Boston that we know is possible every single day. I have at the risk of leaving someone out, I have a quick list of elected officials that I'm told are here in the House, of course, along with Governor Maura Healey and Representative Michaelwitz, whom you'll hear from shortly. We're also joined by State Senator Sal DiDomenico, Representative Chris Worrell, City Councilor Gigi Coletta Zapata, Representative Brandy Fluker-Oakley, State Senator Liz Miranda, Representative Danny Ryan, City Councilor Aaron Murphy, City Councilor Sharon Durkin. Did I miss anyone? I got Liz. Okay, great. So thank you to all of our electeds at every level for what you do for our city and our Commonwealth. And thank you so much to all of the leaders that are part of my team at the city who have also worked to make today possible, but worked to make Boston a city where we can represent this legacy nationally and beyond. I'm joined here by our Director of Tourism, Sports and Entertainment, John Borders, Yasha Franklin Hodge, our Chief of Streets, Shagun Idawu, our Chief of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion, Jessica Pierre, our Chief of Communications, members from all of their teams. And of course, thank you to all those who are part of the Celtics organization and the impact that they have in the community. We continue to hold up the man that we're all here to celebrate, and that is with the legacy and the actions of Ms. Janine Russell. So thank you for being with us today and for all that you've done for so many years for the city of Boston. We're so thankful for you. Thank you for stoking the fires of Bill Russell's legacy and working with us to make sure we found the right way to honor him. I'm told that Karen Russell and Jacob Russell are also in the House, and welcome so much to family and all those loved ones who have been touched by Bill Russell over the many facets of his life. Thank you to the ownership and the team, coaching staff. We're so excited for all that Jaylen represents for our city as well, and happy birthday. And David Shapiro, whose work at the YMCA is not only life-changing for our young people, but one of a cohort of many organizations touched by the Celtics and the work that we're here to celebrate today. So we're here for one reason, because Bill Russell played a role in building something that we continue to believe in, whether that's being the center of a decade-long dynasty that has inspired generations of athletes, or leading the charge for racial justice and laying the groundwork for lifting up our young people. I have the honor of seeing Bill Russell and remembering him every day, because just outside of City Hall, there's a statue celebrating the man who brought home 11 NBA championships. And when he passed, people came from all over the world to leave flowers at his feet right outside City Hall. It showed a little bit of the remarkable impact that he's had on so many, and that he continues to have on how we think about our lives, how we think about what's possible, how we think about what's right. Bill Russell showed us on and off the court that to deliver a brighter future, we need to reckon with our past. He knew he had a platform, and he used it to push for a better world. In DC, he marched with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In Mississippi, he opened the state's first integrated basketball camp. And here in Boston, he spoke with students protesting school segregation. Despite everything that he did, all the accolades and all the respect that he held from every generation, he was always humble, and he was always thinking about what he could do next. When he was first asked about that statue, the one outside City Hall, he was hesitant, because I'm told he was never concerned with being immortalized or remembered forever, only with having the impact that would continue to last. So he agreed to the sculpture only on the condition that it lift up youth mentorship programs. That's who he was, someone who only ever thought about others, someone who led with love and hope even when he faced hate. He sowed community where others sowed division, and he built bridges where others tore us apart. And it's in that spirit of lifting up all our heroes that I'm so excited for today's announcement. Not only will Boston be renaming this bridge the William Felton Bill Russell Bridge, after the near-mythic figure we know and love, we will also be naming a parks parcel on each end of the bridge after two of our resident heroes in the same spirit. So thank you, and we'll work on those commemorations a little bit later, but I do just want to give a quick shout out to two individuals in our history who moved with the same type of courage, leadership, and humility. Robert Bobby D. DiCristoforo and Boston Fire Lieutenant Steve Minahan, who didn't play basketball or march with Dr. King, but gave their whole selves to the work of making our city a home for everyone. Bobby D advocated for everyone in Boston, especially those here in the North End and across the water in Charlestown. And Lieutenant Minahan made the ultimate sacrifice, keeping our residents safe while battling a 9-alarm blaze in Charlestown. They represent, along with Bill Russell and the many, many people he inspired, mentored, and shaped, the type of leadership that would make sure our city was a beacon of equity, justice, and hope, and legacies that continue to bridge our communities. So thank you so much to everyone, and we are so grateful for the opportunity to have this forever be a reminder of what Boston is capable of and where Boston is still headed to in the future.
Thank you, Mayor. Apologize for my misunderstanding at the beginning. Usually at moments like this, all you want to do is get rid of the ball. So when you get rid of the ball to maybe the best point guard we have in the room right now, and that would be the governor, Healey.
Definitely not true. I lost my handle a long time ago. But I am thrilled to be here. What a great day, right? I mean, what an awesome day. And thanks, Mike, for emceeing all of this, and thank you so much for all your contributions to not just the Celtics organization and sports, but really the culture of this city and this region. So awesome to see you, Mike. So to the mayor, thank you so much for making this happen. Working so hard to make this happen. I appreciate and echo, double down on everything you said about this incredible man, what he represents. Thank you for your partnership with your administration and our administration. And we're grateful as well to our legislative friends, Chair Michaelwitz and others named, who help fund and make all these great things possible. I'm particularly grateful to the Massachusetts Highway Administrator, Jonathan Gulliver, and his team, including Marshall Hook, who actually, somebody's got to work on building this thing and rerouting traffic for 7 years. So DOT, we're going to get it done April. This thing is going to be, it's going to be great. Thank you. And speaking of construction, I had the pleasure of meeting Miguel Rosales, the awesome architect of this incredible structure. I just want to say something about the Celtics organization to Wick and to Brad and to Steve, all the Celtics family here. You walk in big shoes, the biggest, being number 6. And the way that you have contributed, not just to bringing home a banner, but I think more importantly, and I said this when we celebrated you, Jaylen, just months ago, you're even better people off the court, which is pretty amazing considering who you are on the court. And the way this whole organization, all of you, are so invested in community, giving in so many ways, isn't that exactly what Bill Russell would want you to be about? So I just want to acknowledge and thank you for what you contribute in so many ways. And it's fantastic to, we'll raise the banner tomorrow night, and that's awesome. And we're going to raise another one next year. But even more impactful and lasting is the work that you all are doing in community and what you're modeling. It's just awesome. David Shapiro, YMCA, talk about modeling and being there for people. We thank you for what you do. And to the Russell family, to Janine, thank you for your efforts in getting us to this day as we remember your wonderful husband. To Karen, Jacob, and of course the late Bill Jr. I don't know if Karen's back, but she was a lawyer. I respect that. Back in town for this. Thank you for sharing your wonderful father with Massachusetts for so many years. Bill Russell's one of my heroes. He is someone who showed you can start out with a love of basketball and change the world in the process. He certainly changed the game. Never before had somebody been above the rim like that and run the court with that length and that speed. So he, I think, fundamentally changed the game. But then he went on to change the world and also what it meant to be a professional athlete, you know, and what was possible. I think about him, I think about Muhammad Ali later, you know, Bill Russell and his strength, his resilience in speaking out and stepping up in the face of injustice. He also was a bridge builder, connecting his teammates and fans, the city of Boston, the state of Massachusetts, the entire country, and a global community. He was indeed a literal and proverbial giant. On the court, an unmatched defender, facilitator, and leader, captaining the U.S. team that won the Olympic gold, bringing home 11 championships to this great city, including 2 as a player coach. But Bill was much more than about basketball. The intensity, the passion that he brought to the game made him a natural leader off the court as well. And he showed, as we know, deep personal strength and dignity in the face of racism. He made powerful contributions to the civil rights movement. He inspired millions and continues to inspire us today. He showed us that you can be strong and unbending while also being kind and compassionate. You can smile and laugh and love life as you work to make change. I brag about how Massachusetts, how we lead in so many realms, right? Number one in healthcare, education, innovation. Our leadership in sports, Titletown, and what that instills in hope and joy in people is real. But that leadership, including leadership we're going to celebrate tomorrow, requires somebody to go first, requires role models to follow. Bill Russell was that leader, that role model, that person others could look to, could aspire to, whether they played basketball or not. He taught us what it means to be a leader, what it means to stand up for a cause, what it means to dedicate your life to others. And that's what we do as we stand here today, this beautiful, glorious day, to honor the Russell family, the Celtics family, and rename this bridge in honor of Bill Russell. What I like about it is that every day, people are going to be walking, driving, biking, going over to this bridge, maybe to work, maybe to a game at TD Garden, visiting our city, and they're going to take in and know that there was this man, this great, great man, Bill Russell, a bridge builder and an inspiring figure. So I commit to you, we're going to get this thing ready to go in April, and it will be enjoyed for years to come, and Bill Russell's legacy will be forever. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to bring up a speaker who you heard his name mentioned by the governor, and we'll find out exactly why that happened. But he is the representative of the area that we are in right now. So welcome to the podium, Aaron Michaelwitz.
Mike failed to mention that I'm his state representative. So while he was born in Dorchester, you've moved up in the world, certainly, living in mine. It's for all my Dorchester friends out there. But what a great day. I really am honored to be here today and to be part of this. This is exciting. As a Celtics fan, a season ticket holder, actually, guys, lifelong resident of the North End. This is an exciting week all around. Obviously, we're raising the banner tomorrow night, but celebrating history today here in our city. And one thing that's exciting about it is that the argument that every Charlestown townie and every North Ender has been having over the last 100+ years, and especially between me and State Rep Dan Ryan, is whether it was the Charlestown Bridge or was it called the North End Bridge, is now officially over. That day is over, and yeah, exactly. And there is no better historical person to end that argument than the greatest winner in this city's history. Check that, the greatest winner in American sports history. He was the GOAT before the GOAT term even existed. And that was for all he did on the court and all he did off the court. But by naming this gateway to the city of Boston in honor of Bill Russell, we are not only honoring the 11 banners that he helped raise in the garden, but we're honoring the fact that he challenged us to be a better city. He challenged us to be a more inclusive city. He challenged us to build that bridge and make sure that we were heading in a better way. And while he's no longer with us, obviously his legacy lives on and will continue as we go. And I find it very special, the fact that we have the Freedom Trail runs right along this bridge. And nothing says that more than Bill Russell and the fight that he made for freedom for everyone in America. And so it's something that I think is going to just add to the experience for folks that come to visit this city and learn about this city and get to understand the history, all the good and the bad that we've had over the last couple hundred years here. But it's going to be particularly special for those of all of us that have lived it ourselves and actually got to see the growth that we've had here. And I also want to just thank the mayor in particular, not just for getting us to this point today, but for also recognizing a North Ender and Bobby DeCristoforo. He was a mentor of mine, a friend of mine who passed away about 10 years ago. And he was a big figure in the North End. He was a big figure in Charlestown as well. So him being on this bridge is going to be pretty cool and pretty special as well. And I do think he won't mind sharing the space with the greatest winner of all time, being a lifelong sports fan as he was. So, it's a great day. I really appreciate everyone being here. And I'll just close by saying, with the amount of traffic that I have experienced on this bridge in my lifetime, it makes complete sense that we're going to be naming this bridge after a guy who invented the term clogging the middle, basically. So, it's an exciting day. Appreciate everything. Jaylen, we only got 10 more to go before we get to your bridge, okay? Thank you, everyone.
Our next speaker was one of the prime movers in the statue coming to the Government Center, and also one of the prime movers in what we are doing, celebrating here today, which is the renaming of the bridge. So let me welcome Steve Pagliuca here.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for everybody being here on such a special day. It's also special that we won a championship in this year, and Bill Russell's synonymous with championships. When you think of the word civil rights, you think of Bill Russell. We had the privilege, and Wick and I first bought the team. One of the first things we did was call Bill to really help ramp up our charity efforts. And if you remember, Wick, the first event, Bill was there with the family, and we had the first successful Shamrock dinner, which we just had 2 nights ago as well. So it's been a great trip down memory lane. I'll never forget when Bill came in. I was a young kid, 6 years old, watching basketball. And I actually got, I'm one of the few people old enough here who have seen Bill Russell play. Not live, because I couldn't afford tickets, but on tape delay and on television. What I always loved about Bill Russell was he wasn't about points, he wasn't about any kind of personal things, he was about winning. And that's all he did, was win. And that has really stuck with the Celtics organization. To this day, that's impacted the culture. When we got the call from Mayor Menino, we'll never forget this, we got a call from Mayor Menino saying Bill Russell had just been awarded the Medal of Freedom, which was fantastic. And he said, I want you guys, remember Wick, I want you guys, we have to have a statue up within 1 year for Bill Russell. And we said, sure, we'll get that done. And David Shapiro was there. And the first thing Bill did was he said, I really want this to be more than a statue. I want to have children as part of it. I'd like to locate it in an area to talk about human rights and civil rights, so it's more than a basketball monument. And then on top of that, I want you guys to fund a mentorship program, which we did with David so successfully. We had a wonderful time doing that together, and I'll never forget, President Obama came up, and we had put a tent over the statue because we were going to unveil it the next day, but he wanted to have a special visit. And I was there with his family, and the Secret Service came in. They said, "You can't take any pictures." And I had my camera like this. I have the only footage of Obama walking in and laughing, and you hear the Bill Russell cackle, and they had an incredible time, with the statue. So we are just so thrilled and proud to be part of this, and having all the Celtics here, and our management, Brad, Wick, all of us, Rich, Sully, everyone, just be part of this incredible experience, and we're going to continue it on. We have players like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, great leaders in the community, and we're going to do everything we can to make Boston, great, and and really live in the legacy of Bill Russell, and be part of something bigger than ourselves to help mankind. So thank you for being here. It's a wonderful day.
Any discussion of why the Boston Celtics are currently the world champions doesn't get very into that discussion without the member of this guy coming up to the podium. He is and will be an all-star basketball player for many, many years to come, and we all hope he does it in the Boston Celtic uniform that whole time. Welcome, Jaylen Brown.
Good afternoon, everyone. Top of the morning. Let me get my thanks out the way. Thankful for everybody here in this room. Thankful to the Celtics. Thankful to Janine, Mayor Wu, everybody that's here in attendance. Thank you. Thank you, Brad, for allowing me to be late to practice and be here to honor Bill Russell. I got to meet Bill 2 times in my life before he passed. One time was at the ESPYs with Janine. The other time I was with Isaiah Thomas, who's one of my mentors, and as I was walking up to him, he gave me the middle finger. And right after, he started to smile, and Steve was talking to it about, how his smile would just light up an entire room. And I look across this room that's pretty well lit, and I see a bunch of community leaders, the leadership of Boston, and I'm a community guy, always have been. And I think it's important to encourage collaboration. And I think that the decisions that we make today and tomorrow have an effect on the next generation. We're here to talk about the legacy of the great Bill Russell. Not only just what he done on the basketball floor, how many championships he won, but how many championships he won off the basketball floor as well. The things he stood for in the community, the things with education, the things he stood for in the time, which is much harder than now to stand for. Like Bill Russell transcends sports. Like I could speak on and on about his resume, but his character, his demeanor, and how he handled himself through adversity, I think that speaks volumes, especially in a time like today. Bill Russell, I think it's very fitting that the bridge is getting named after him. Because what a bridge does is bring people together. And as the leadership of sports and the role that sports play in our society is bringing people together, I think that's a part of the reason why I've dedicated my platform to the community, because I know what a role it plays to be able to stand in rooms like this with other leadership in Boston and stand for something and be willing to collaborate in order to make this city a better place. Bill challenged us on a daily. He challenged us throughout his legacy, throughout his career, throughout his time spent here. And as I maneuver through my career, I plan on continuing to walk in his light. So I thank you guys once again. I appreciate you guys for having me. And it's an honor to be able to be up here. And I think it's very fitting that, a bridge is being named after the great Bill Russell, because that's exactly what we need. And to bridge our ideals, our values to the next generation is key. So I challenge everyone in this room to continue to do the same and continue to remember what Bill Russell stood for. Thank you.
Another name has been mentioned quite often here amongst speakers is David Shapiro. He is the president and CEO of the YMCA of Greater Boston. We'd like to welcome up here to say some words.
thought I was going to get called up when he said you can't talk about the World Championship of the Celtics without mentioning this guy, but that was Jaylen, not me. I want to thank Janine. I wouldn't be here without invitation from the Russell family throughout my life. It's a great privilege to be here, and it was an even greater privilege to know Bill. His stories, his actions, his teaching, they forever echo just as his full-bodied laugh would reverberate well beyond his physical presence. Mass mentoring mentor and the cause of youth mentoring brought me into his orbit, but just like with all things Bill, it was never quite that simple. There were all these crossroads where Bill forced the action. When the Celtics retired his jersey, when Mayor Menino tried to recruit him back to the city for the DNC, when the Red Sox new ownership at the time wanted him to be part of the historic celebration of breaking the curse, and when a statue was planned in his honor. At every one of these turns, where the simple answer might have been thanks or no thanks, Bill challenged the invitee to raise their level, just as he did his teammates. And with that, the creation of the Red Sox Triple Crown commitment to youth mentoring, the Celtics and the city's creation of the Bill Russell Youth Mentoring Grants. Funds raised, mentors recruited, scholarships created, progress and opportunity. Bill demonstrated that for every action, the power is in the reaction. That's where progress lives. At his memorial, a former player told a story of complaining to Bill that they must do something to stop international players entering the NBA and taking opportunities from current players. Bill's reaction, to remind him that people had once said that about black players and that they should welcome and embrace the broadening of the game, that it would create opportunities and elevate everyone. And when it came to kids, Bill coined the best phrase I've ever heard in American life, that in the United States of America, there's no such thing as other people's children. In his expansive brilliance, he saw how intertwined our history, present, and future, our shared destiny. And perhaps that's why he loves stories so much, to remind us that history holds us a mirror, showing us where to go only if we're brave enough to look. And so I want to conclude with one last story that seems especially fitting today based on the geography of the new Bill Russell Bridge. Bill was in Boston around 20 years ago for a mentoring event at Charlestown High School. He promised the team, the school, that if they committed to the mentoring program and to all they did, he'd be back. Remember, he lived in Mercer Island, Washington at the time, and was not all that fond of making the trip across the country. It was a line from an adult, a visitor, a luminary that they likely dismissed. Well, 4 months later, he flew across the country to celebrate the raising of a Townies championship banner, sitting in the top row with the kids. And he elevated everyone in that room with the power of promise, adult accountability, and reaction. He knew the power of showing up, creating action, learning, connecting, and making good on every opportunity to make progress inclusive of all. He will once and forever be the ultimate catalyst, pioneer, and change maker, as we see once again today. Thank you all so much. Thanks to everyone.
Our final speaker of today, and I would ask all of you if you can stand on your feet and welcome Janine Russell.
Thank you, everybody. I'm new at this, so I'm going to read off my phone and may not look up. So thank you, Mike, for that introduction, and thank you to Mayor Wu and your team for all the hard work and dedication in bringing this moment to life in less than 4 months. It has been such a pleasure working so closely with your team. Thank you to the governor and to the Celtics ownership, current players and past players, and to all who came out today. This is a remarkable day, and I am proud to be here representing my husband and amplifying the legacy he built during his life to future generations. Bill never chased acknowledgement. Sorry. Bill never chased acknowledgement, but I know he would be so proud to be honored with this bridge naming. Thank you. Because deep down, Bill understood that outcomes of his convictions could be a bridge to better understanding of the challenges we face in society and how to navigate our path forward. So many know of Bill Russell as a record-setting basketball champion and the NBA's or any other major sports first black coach, but he never thought of his legacy being confined to a basketball court. He used his platform to challenge injustice and inequality, so in this way, he literally and figuratively was a bridge for civil rights. He spoke out when silence would have been easier. He stood up to injustice when he had something to lose. He marched alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he never stopped pushing for a better, fairer world. He built connections between communities, advocating for respect, dignity, and the power of unity. This bridge, like Bill Russell, stands strong and enduring. It connects people, just as he connected the struggles of the past with the hopes of the future. It symbolizes progress, moving us forward while reminding us of the foundations that hold us up. Standing here today, I can't help but think, what would be going through my husband's mind if he was here with us? He'd probably be thinking, what is all the fuss about? And he would probably make some joke about having this bridge named after him might help him get out of some speeding tickets as he's driving across it. He would want everyone to be having a great time, but behind his kind smile and huge laugh, he would be sharing with us. I also know that below the surface, he would be proud knowing that the way he lived his life had impact and made a difference to so many. As we dedicate this bridge, we are reminded that the road to justice, like the road to victory, is built step by step with strength, determination, teamwork, and a vision for something greater. Bill's legacy is not just in the games he won, but in the bridges he built for future generations to cross. May this bridge inspire us, as my husband did, to stand strong, to connect, and to keep moving forward. On behalf of my husband, thank you. Thank you for this dedication and giving the city and all those who visit the opportunity to remember him and everything that he stood for and the lives that he made better. Thank you.
Can I ask everyone to stay seated, and we'll have the unveiling.
Where's Allison Feaster? Allison Feaster, get up here. Sorry.
Ready? Count of 3.